Buenos días, vecinos. Hoy me encuentro en Palmar, Santander, and I want to tell you a little bit about some things that give people a lot of trouble, the subjunctive. I'm not going to talk about the details of how to form the subjunctive tense, how to change the letters and all that. That's just too basic for this video. There's plenty of other places you can go look for that. I'm not a Spanish teacher, but there are a lot of other Spanish teachers out there that will tell you about different rules when to use the subjunctive tense. Honestly, I don't think rules are a really good way to think about learning languages. That's going to backfire on you for a number of reasons. One, there's a lot of exceptions to every rule. Two, there's always a lot of gray area. Things are not just black and white. And three, if you got a checklist in your head every time you're trying to decide whether to use por or para, ser or estar, preterite or perfecto, by the time you get done with that checklist in your head, the conversation is going to move on to a different topic. I've arranged this video in terms of like 5 different situations just because it's easier to organize, it's easier to kind of structure your head around. But if you're trying to remember when to use the subjunctive, I really think it's a better idea to pay attention to these indicator words that I point out. You'll see what I mean in a second. So Colombians are really emotional people. Well, probably all Latinos are. And in Spanish, we use the subjunctive tense to show just how emotional we are. Some of the indicator words that kind of color the sentence that show you that there's emotion here are me alegro que, me preocupa que, tengo miedo que, me encanta que, me sorprende que. I'm sure there's lots more than that. Those are just the 6 examples I'm going to use in this video. Before we get too far here, I want to mention that I'm going to use the word que in all of these examples. Que can mean a lot of different things. Today, que means that. And I say that to say this. That is an optional word. Just like in English, you might say, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy you're here. They're pretty much the same, right? And then in Spanish, you can say, me alegro estés aquí, or you can say, me alegro que estés aquí. Same thing. You can use que if you want to, or not. That's up to you. Yeah. So here's some examples. If you're visiting somebody in Colombia, or a Spanish-speaking person is visiting you, you're going to hear and you're going to want to use phrases just like these. Watch for the indicator words. I put them in blue. Another time we use the subjunctive tense is when we're telling people what to do or what not to do. So say you're taking a cooking class in Cartagena. You're going to hear and use phrases just like this. Of course, we also use the subjunctive tense when you're telling people what not to do. So you'll hear phrases like this. And if you've been in Colombia more than just a few days, you probably noticed that the culture here is pretty polite. Aquí se usa por favor y gracias mucho más que se usa en los Estados Unidos. So when people are telling you what to do, you'll hear a lot of these indicator words like es importante que, recomiendo que, te aconsejo que, es mejor que, sugiero que, por favor que lo hagas. And they come up in phrases just like this. Entonces. Another time we use the subjunctive tense is when we're real doubtful about something. We're really just not sure. Life is complicated, the future's uncertain, the present's uncertain, and we use the subjunctive tense to just tell you, I don't know, I think so. So maybe you're sitting on the couch, you got your laptop open, you're talking with your partner about some vacation in the future, you want to practice your Spanish, or maybe your partner speaks Spanish. So you're going to want to listen for and use indicator words like these. Es posible que, dudo que, puede que, no creo que, no estoy seguro que, y tal vez. And you can even add de pronto. So we're going to continue with this theme of a blurry future and talk about our hopes and dreams. And of course, you can use the subjunctive tense when you're talking about something you want to happen or something you don't want to happen. Like, espero que no llueva. There's lots of things in the future that you want to happen, you wish would happen, you dream would happen. I don't know. That's when you use the subjunctive tense. Me encantaría si mi selección Colombia gane una Copa Mundial un día. That's an uncertain future. So when you're talking about your hopes and dreams, things you wish would happen, things you hope would happen, things you want to happen, you're going to want to use some indicator words like these.
Espero que, deseo que, ojalá que, quiero que, me gustaría que.
And if you come visit me here in Santander, you're going to hear me use some of those indicator words in phrases like these. Incidentally, this is the same form, the same structure we use with a lot of greetings and then we say goodbye. One great example is when you send an email. You can't just say buenos dias and then go straight to the point. You got to have at least one sentence. It's kind of like a little greeting. Like when you start an email, you might start out, buenos dias, espero que se encuentre bien. Here's a few really common ways that we say goodbye here in Colombia. A lot of times we use the subjunctive tense when we're talking about the reason we're doing something. So you might say something like, quiero llevar mi mamá a Cartagena para que la conozca. Voy a echar al piste para que los pájaros vengan. The only indicator words for this category are para que. And like I said, the que is optional. So say maybe you're talking to your friend about going to the mercado on the weekends. You might hear or use phrases just like these. Listo, vecinos. Espero que hayan gustado este video. That's a very common subjunctive phrase that you hear at the end of a lot of Spanish-speaking videos, including most of mine. Espero que hayan gustado este video. I don't know if you liked it. I hope so. I didn't talk in this video about the details of how to change the letters and the irregular forms. There's other resources on the internet you can look for that. This video is about how to use it, when to use it. So if you want to know more about the irregular verb forms and how to change the letters in the regular verb forms, there's lots of other resources on the internet to look for that. Hopefully this video will just be one more among a lot of resources you can use to help improve your Spanish. I'm not a Spanish teacher, I'm just a bilingual guy, and I'm trying to help other people be bilingual too. Ciao vecinos, que estén muy bien. Entonces, vecinos, here's your ñapa. Colombiano que se respete siempre da ñapa. A lot of times you can use the subjunctive tense the way we'd use it in English, the way we say something like ever, like whoever, whenever, whatever. So you could say, preparé comida para quien venga. Puedes preparar la pechuga como tú quieras. Bueno, lo que tú digas, mi amor. Lo que tú digas. So one really easy thing to do is take the word sea and add it to the other words that you probably already learned, like question words. Donde, cuando, como, quién, cuál. And you say, donde sea, cuando sea, quién sea, como sea, cuál sea. This doesn't mean that the word sea means ever. No, don't think it like that. It's just that sea is the subjunctive form of ser. So for example, ¿quién es mi vecino? Who is my neighbor? But sea is subjunctive, and you know, subjunctive is always like doubtful and, you know, hypothetical, like I don't know. And when you say quien sea mi vecino, it's like who could be my neighbor, who might be my neighbor. So quien sea mi vecino is whoever is my neighbor. I hope you're a little bit less confused now than you were half an hour ago. Ciao vecinos, que estén muy bien.